All right, well then, without further ado, I think we'll kick off. We still have some people kind of trickling in on our virtual audience, but we'll get started with just a quick intro to who the Environmental Center is, and then we'll get to the good stuff by the time everybody else gets in here. Okay. All right, thank you for those who are joining us online as well. We're excited to have you here, and thank you for your patience as we got all of this set up. My name is Lindsay Hardy. I'm the program director of the energy programs here at the Environmental Center, and I use she and her pronouns. And then I'm also joined by Grace Andrews, who's here helping with some of the technology as well, who works on our energy program. And we'll switch the cameras over in a minute later so she can say hi too. I can't decide where to look. I'm trying to like balance between the folks in the room and the folks online. So for those who aren't familiar with the Environmental Center, we are your friendly hub of sustainability here in downtown Bend, and we serve throughout Central Oregon. And our mission is to embed sustainability into daily life right here in Central Oregon. And we do that in a variety of ways. We bring people together. We try to collaborate with businesses and government and individuals, youth, teachers, and to connect with people where they live, work, and play. So we work, as I mentioned, in schools. We work to inspire adults to come to events like tonight to find out how you can get your energy from renewable energy. We work to advance change through policy work, like you might have seen with some of our work with the Climate Action Plan with the City of Bend, and like some of the work that Grace is working on to hopefully get the ball rolling on the Deschutes County putting together an energy plan. And so we believe that the quest to change and create a better world starts right here in Central Oregon, in our homes, in our schools, in our offices, and it starts with you. So we're excited that you're here tonight to learn more about solar and renewable energy and how you all can get involved. So if you're looking for other ways to get involved, I know many of you here are already on our newsletter, but if not, that's a great way to get keyed into other events that are happening. You can also sign up to volunteer on our website, or today and for the next couple of weeks, if you become a member, you'll get a free copy of Intersectional Environmentalist by Leah Thomas. All right, and this event is just one of many in our Homegrown Renewables series. Next up, we have woody biomass talk coming up, where we'll hear about some local projects that are happening in Prineville, as well as here in Bend, and talk more about how these projects could help us meet renewable energy goals that are laid out in the Climate Action Plan, as well as hopeful future goals for Deschutes County as well. We'll dig into a little bit about this new program called the Green Tariff that was enabled with legislation last year to allow communities to choose to produce or source 100% renewable energy locally. And then we have some other fun events that happen here regularly, including happy hour in the garden every other Tuesday. You can come and work in the garden, have a drink, and some compost workshops coming up. The next one is on May 26th. I'm not sure. I'll have the right date there in the follow-up email for you all. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Carly. And Carly, now I don't have the document up with your bio. So if it's okay with you, I'll let you introduce yourself and Oregon Shines.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share and let you bring your presentation up.
Sounds good. Go ahead and get that up. Okay, can you see my presentation? Good. Okay, awesome. Hey everyone, I am Carly Sellers. I'm a program manager for Oregon Shines. Oregon Shines is a subscriber acquisition and management company here in Oregon, which just is a fancy way of saying we help connect utility customers to community solar projects. in both Portland General Electric and Pacific Power territories. I've been with Oregon Shines for a little over 2 years now, and pretty much since the beginning of when community solar actually launched here in Oregon. So today, I was just going to give everyone an overview of what community solar is and let you know about the opportunity for utility customers here in Oregon. If you are a Pacific Power customer there in Bend, or maybe if you're, I don't know if anyone's visiting from somewhere that is in Portland General Electric territory, but in those 2 utility territories here in Oregon, you have the opportunity to do what's called subscribe to a community solar project. So I'm going to be talking about that today. We have partnered with the Environmental Center for Earth Day, which has already passed, but we were fortunate enough to host a booth at their event a couple weekends ago for Earth Day, which was amazing. It was so nice to be around people again at an event and just to be out in the sunshine. There was a lot of people that showed up to that event, so it was really awesome. And just to let you know, for the month of April and then until May 15th, we are going to be donating $25 to the Environmental Center for every sign up we get for community solar. So it's a really great way to support the Environmental Center as well. And tonight we'll be donating $50 per sign up to the Environmental Center if anyone wants to sign up tonight. So it's a good opportunity to support the Environmental Center as well. So I thank you all for being here, and I will go ahead and get started. All right. So what is community solar? A lot of people might have heard of community solar. A lot of people might not have heard of it. I personally had never heard of community solar before I moved here to Oregon. So I usually just start by kind of giving an overview of what community solar is as a concept. It's a growing thing that's happening in a lot of states across the US, which is really great. And we have a pretty robust program here in Oregon that we want everybody to take advantage of. So what is it? It's basically usually large utility scale solar projects. So maybe if you're, driving through a rural area in Oregon, you see those large fields of solar panels. Envision something like that as a community solar project. And you have the opportunity to offset your electricity with power from the community solar project. So you're essentially buying power from a solar project, and that clean energy is going straight into your utilities grid. So for you folks that are in Pacific Power territory, all of the energy from a solar project in Pacific Power territory will flow straight into their grid, which adds to their clean energy mix, which is always a really good thing. As an incentive for participating in a community solar project, you'll receive what's called a bill credit on your monthly utility bill. And this comes directly on the Pacific Power bill that you already received from your utility, which is really great. So you don't have to worry about, getting any type of separate billing or anything like that from Oregon Shines. And you pay what's called a subscription fee for your bill credit every month. But your subscription fee is always less than the value of your credit, which is how you save money through participating in the Oregon Community Solar Program. And I'll go into kind of how that works in a little more detail in a couple slides. But this is community solar in a nutshell. It's basically just an easy way to support clean energy by offsetting your own personal electricity usage at home. And you get a credit for participating as well. Okay, a little bit of background on the Oregon Community Solar Program itself. The program was established by the state legislature in 2016 through Senate Bill 1547. So this is a state mandated program. And the program officially launched in January of 2020. So we're about 2 years into the program at this point. And like I mentioned before, the goal of the program is to provide an easy way for customers of PGE and Pacific Power and Idaho Power as well to get the advantages of solar without actually having to put panels on your roof. kind of the way that the Oregon Community Solar Program works is that they allow project managers or solar developers to submit solar projects to the program, and these then go through a review process to become community solar projects. And that kind of leads us to Oregon Shines and what our role in the Oregon Community Solar Program is. We sometimes find this can be a little bit of a confusing program because there are lots of entities involved. So you have, the Oregon Community Solar Program, the utilities themselves, so PGE and Pacific Power, and then you have other project managers that are actually the ones that are developing the solar projects, and they're looking for subscribers for their projects. So Oregon Shines, what we do is we work on behalf of those project managers or those solar developers that are registered with the program. And we actually help connect the utility customers in both utility territories to actual projects. So we actually get people signed up to the community solar projects. And our mission is similar to the Oregon Community Solar Program itself, and that is to give customers an easy and affordable alternative to on-site solar, since it's not always a great option for everybody. Okay, our projects. So this is a picture of a map of Oregon, as you can see, and this shows where all of our community solar projects are located throughout Oregon. For you guys, this would be Pacific Power projects. So those are the ones in orange here. And you can see them kind of spread out throughout Oregon. There's a couple up here, one up here in northeastern Oregon, and then a few down in southern Oregon. We unfortunately don't have any community solar projects located right in Bend, but you would have the option of subscribing to any of these projects here. So our closest ones are 7 Mile Solar and Antelope Creek. But you don't have to necessarily subscribe to one that's the closest to you. You can subscribe to any of the community solar projects in your utility territory. So that would be any of the 6 here in Pacific Power. And really the only requirement for you to participate in one of these projects is that you reside in that utility territory and that your name is on the utility bill for the residents that you're signing up. And this is, just to illustrate, like, these are totally offsite systems. You're not putting any panels on your roof, and you're also not having to worry about upfront costs or construction costs or ongoing maintenance, any of the things that comes along with actually putting solar panels on your roof. You don't have to worry about with community solar. Okay. This is kind of the bulk of how the crediting system actually works, just so you can kind of get a visual of what this would look like on your monthly utility bill. So the first step, like I mentioned, is that you're going to subscribe to a portion of a project. And to do this, what we do is when you sign up, we'll ask for a copy of your utility bill. And your utility bill has a little chart on it that shows your historical usage. We'll take a look at that and say, okay, this person used 10,000 kilowatt hours this past year, and we'll size a subscription that will produce around that much. So we do all of that for you. It's not something you have to worry about. We just need a copy of your bill to be able to do that. This picture here is of me and my coworker on a site visit to one of our community solar projects called Red Prairie. It's a PGE project, but we're just kind of sectioning off some panels here to show how many panels it typically takes to power a residential home. Just so you can kind of get a visual of how many panels you would be looking at subscribing to as a residential customer. So like these little panels here in this section would kind of be yours. It would be, you would be getting your electricity from that portion of the community solar project, which is kind of cool. The second step is that your subscription will generate what's called a bill credit. And this is the bill credit that you receive on your utility bill is a function of both your subscription size and also how much electricity the community solar project has produced that month. So thinking about it in terms of, the weather. So in the winter, solar panels are not getting as much sun and your subscription might not produce as much electricity in the winter months. But during the summer, when the solar panels are getting a lot of sun and the project is producing a lot of electricity, your subscription is going to be generating more electricity as well. So your credit will reflect that. In the winter, you might see kind of like very small credits, and then in the summer, you'll see bigger credits, and it all kind of evens out to about a 5% discount over the 12-month period of the year. In this example that I have here, let's say your subscription generates $100 in credits 1 month, and this is the amount that's credited to your bill. So in this picture here, you can kind of see this line item that is a $100 credit for community solar. We will sell you this credit at a 5% discount, and this is called your subscription fee, which is another line item that you'll see on your bill. And your subscription fee is always going to be 5% less than the value of your credit. So in this example here, you would be buying a $100 credit for $95. The difference between the two, $5, would be the amount that's applied to the overall amount due on your bill. So you're basically buying a credit at a discount is how this works. I always kind of think about it like a Groupon, where, you know, if you're buying a $20 Groupon for $15, so you still get to use the full $20, but you only paid $15 for it. It's kind of the same concept here. Okay, and then this is a screenshot actually from my own personal utility bill. I'm subscribed to one of our Portland General Electric projects since I live here in Portland. But I just wanted to show you how exactly this will look on a bill. It might look a little bit different in Pacific Power, but it's the same kind of concept. So at the very bottom of your bill, you would see a section called Community Solar Program. And like that picture I showed on the previous slide, you're going to see your credit listed out there. So for this particular month, I believe this was March. Okay, so this was March for me. I don't know how it's been there in Bend, but it's been very cloudy and rainy here for the past couple months. Hasn't really started to get sunny yet. So this community solar project in particular is on the lower end of production right now. So I get a $43 credit on this month's utility bill, and then I pay a $41 subscription fee for that credit. The $2.17 difference is the overall credit that I get on my utility bill that is applied to this $48.66. So as you can see here, it's a little bit of a lower credit since the solar project didn't produce as much electricity, but that will grow during the summer months to even out to about a 5% discount. Okay, how do you sign up for community solar? It's very easy to sign up. The first thing you'll do is you'll want to make sure to have a copy of your utility bill. You can either get that, I know, you know, some people might still get their bill physically in the mail. You can take a picture of that and upload it to the sign up form, or you can also go to Pacific Power's website and download the utility bill there. But all you have to do is go to our sign up page. We have a special sign up page for the Environmental Center. It's just OregonShines.com/Earth Day. And if you do choose to sign up, make sure to use that URL so that we can make a donation on your behalf. But once you're there, you'll just fill out the sign up form. It's just asking for your basic information and then also a copy of your most recent utility bill so that we're able to see your historical usage and get your meter number and all of that. And then you'll select a project. So out of the 6 projects I showed you on that previous slide, you'll get to select whichever one you want to subscribe to. And then you'll just review and agree to all of the terms and conditions. And then that's it. One thing I will note is that all of these community solar projects are not yet built. So this is kind of how community solar works is we find subscribers for community solar projects first. And once a community solar project has its subscriber base, it can then move forward with the construction process and with the certification process through the program. So it's a little bit of kind of like a backwards process where we find subscribers first, you kind of save your spot in a community solar project, and then you have to wait for the project to actually come online. So it's not an immediate thing. It's not like if you sign up today, you'll start seeing these bill credits on your utility bill next month. But we do keep you up to date on your project and when you can expect it to come online. A lot of the Pacific Power projects that we have available are supposed to be coming online this year. So hopefully it's not too long of a wait. It sometimes just depends, like right now we're having a lot of supply chain issues with modules. The entire kind of solar industry is in a little bit of a disarray right now, but we're hoping things start to settle down and these projects can continue as planned, but we will keep you up to date on your particular project. Another great part about this program is that there is a low income section of the program. So for every single community solar project that is registered through this program, 10% of that project must be subscribed to low income qualified subscribers. This is the chart over here that you can take a look at to determine whether or not you're considered low income through this particular program. But if you do qualify, there is a much deeper discount. So for regular residential customers, it's about a 5% discount annually, but for low income qualified subscribers, it's a 40% discount, which is pretty substantial. So we definitely want you to take advantage of that if you can. There is a little bit of a different sign-up process if you do qualify. When you go through the sign-up process on our website, you'll see, this exact same chart here that asks you if you qualify as low income. You either select yes or no. If you do select yes, it'll take you to a page where you can then schedule an appointment with a nonprofit here in Portland called Community Energy Project. And they have been appointed by the state of Oregon to be the low income facilitator for this program. So you'll basically just set up, I think it's like a 10-minute phone call with them where they'll just verify your income and ask you for the copy of your utility bill. It's verbal verification, so you don't have to provide any type of proof of your income. You just tell them, yes, I do qualify based on this chart here, and then provide them with your utility bill, and that's it. They'll then kind of route you back to Oregon Shines, and we can kind of finish the sign-up process from there. But there's just that extra step where you have to schedule an appointment with Community Energy Project to be able to get verified and take advantage of that 40% discount. Okay, so this is just kind of an overall recap of the benefits of participating. To us, there's really, no downside to participating in this program. There's no cost to sign up. You're guaranteed savings. There's no termination fees. So if for whatever reason you needed to terminate your subscription, let's say you were moving out of state or something like that, there's no termination fees. And you're also supporting local clean energy, which is great and is something that is definitely needed. These are just some frequently asked questions that we get from potential subscribers. The first one here, and some of you might have these questions or might be planning to ask them, but I can just kind of run through them really quick. Does it matter how much I currently pay for electricity? So a lot of people might think that if you subscribe to a community solar project, you're basically choosing to buy your power from a clean energy source, which you are, but the rate that you're paying to the utility is not going to change. So everything about your utility bill is going to stay exactly the same as it did before. So you're going to be paying Pacific Power the same rate that you've always paid them for your electricity. The only difference is that you're buying that credit on your utility bill for a discounted amount. And that credit and that subscription fee are calculated using set rates that have been set by the Public Utility Commission. So whatever the savings is from that bill credit and that subscription fee, it's just deducted from the normal amount that you would pay to your utility, and doesn't really change the price of the electricity that you're getting from Pacific Power, which hopefully that makes sense. And I can go through that example again if needed. I know it's kind of a weird concept. Will I receive 2 separate utility bills? This is a great thing about the program here in Oregon. It's all consolidated billing. So no, you will not receive any other bills. You get your utility bill the same as you normally do, and your community solar bill credit and subscription fee will just appear directly on that normal bill. So you don't have to do anything. We'll kind of connect you with the utility on the back end, and then you'll just start seeing those credits when your project does come online. How is the program funded? So this is probably the biggest question we get, because you know, a lot of people think that community solar is kind of too good to be true. Like, how are we getting a credit from the utility? That doesn't really make sense. So the Oregon Community Solar Program is a ratepayer funded program. So as a ratepayer in Pacific Power Territory, Portland General Electric Territory, and Idaho Power Territory, you are already paying for community solar on your utility bill. Forgot to explain that on this slide here. You can see on my personal utility bill, there's a line item for community solar cost recovery. Every ratepayer in PG and Pacific Power Territory pays that. You can see it's like a little tiny amount here, but that's how this program is able to happen. The utility is getting their money back from crediting people through that ratepayer fee there. But it's also, you know, another reason we tell people to participate in this program, because you are already paying for it, and it's something that is already included on your bill. So it's a good thing to take advantage of. Okay, and I think that about wraps up my presentation. Again, I'll just say tonight, if you do want to sign up, I encourage you to do so. We will double the donation to the environmental center that's received on your behalf. So we've been doing a $25 donation up until May 15th, but tonight we'll double that to $50 if you do choose to sign up. But you still have, you know, through May 15th, we'll make a $25 donation to the environmental center on your behalf. But also, you know, you can sign up anytime after that as well. This is an ongoing opportunity that, you know, it doesn't cut off on May 15th. You can still sign up. And I am happy to answer any questions. I'm sure there are some questions.
All right, thank you, Carly. All right, I know we have a couple of questions that came in on the chat here, but I wanted to give a chance. Does anybody here in the room have any questions? Yeah.
Just given the amount of stuff we have in Central Oregon, are there any future plans to place a solar project here?
So Carly, the question was, given how much sunshine we have here in Central Oregon, do you think any projects will get placed here? Are there any future plans to build anything here?
I hope so. So there's a lot that goes into siting these community solar projects. A lot of it has to do with how much capacity is available on they're called substations. So Pacific Power has kind of points of interconnection, they call it, where a community solar project or any type of solar project would be interconnected into their grid. If those interconnection points don't have capacity on them to take in more electricity, then it's not really a viable area to put a solar project or any other type of energy producing project, because there's no way to get that power from the project to the grid. So that's kind of one barrier there. I think that's happened kind of in Bend, where there's just not a lot of capacity to put these solar projects there. But hopefully in the future that changes, and community solar projects are able to be sited there. But right now we have not been able to do so. But you're right, it is sunny and a good area for it.
Yeah, and that has been, because the Environmental Center has been really interested in seeing what we could do to actually site an installation here. And we've been working for years now with different developers to try to find land. And like Carly was saying, that siting capacity with the utility infrastructure has been the biggest barrier for a utility scale type installation. There still are possibilities to do much smaller installs that are more community driven, that could be a couple hundred kilowatts as opposed to a couple megawatts. And I would encourage you, if you're interested, we'd love to chat more about that. Grace has been working on that quite a bit. You can turn on your camera too if you want, Grace. But Grace here has been working on that too. And so we could talk about a very different scale of community solar than these types of installs. All right. So one of the questions that came in online, what happens if you're enrolled in Blue Sky? Does that end? And I know we had a question earlier today about the difference between Blue Sky and enrolling in the community solar program.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Blue Sky is I guess just to start with the differences between Blue Sky and community solar. Blue Sky is a program through Pacific Power where it's similar. You're sourcing your electricity from clean energy, but with that program, you're paying a premium for that clean energy. So you're paying a little bit more every month for the ability to offset your electricity with clean energy. With community solar, it's a little bit different, where you're getting, a credit instead of paying a premium for the energy. So that's a plus in my eyes. Also, the great thing about community solar is that these projects, and I know I kind of framed this as, you have to wait for your community solar project to come online, which could be seen as kind of a downside, where you're signing up now and having to wait. But that's actually a really great thing, because these projects don't exist, and it's bringing new clean energy onto the grid. So by your subscription, you're actually helping a new source of clean energy come online and actually be able to happen. A lot of times with the utility green energy programs, you're buying electricity from existing clean energy sources, which is great. It's still, a really good thing to support. But it's just slightly different, because that clean energy is already there and being put into the grid. And then with community solar, you're actually making a new project come online with your subscription and adding that clean energy to the grid. So it's similar but slightly different in those couple of ways. Your question about whether or not you can participate in community solar and Blue Sky, yes, you can participate in both. So if you already are a Blue Sky customer and you want to do both Blue Sky and community solar, you're totally welcome to. You would be offsetting your electricity twice, which, is fine. But you can also decide, I don't want to do Blue Sky and I do want to do community solar, or maybe you're offsetting like a section of your utility usage with Blue Sky and you want to do the rest with community solar. It's whatever you want to do. If you do want to kind of piece it out like that, we would just ask that you send us an email so we can kind of figure out your subscription size that way. But I will mention, with community solar, we typically size your subscription to offset about 80% of your historical usage. We don't do the full 100%. And that's because this program has something called oversubscription, which is just if you subscribe to more electricity than you're credited for annually, you have to pay credits back to the utility at the end of the year, because they don't want to credit you for electricity you didn't use. So that's why we use 80% just to leave a buffer there. And we also have language in our contracts that will allow us to adjust your subscription size if we need to. So it should never be a problem. Oversubscription should never be a problem. But my point in saying that is if you want to offset 80% with community solar and then maybe do 20% with the blue sky, you could also do that as well. So you can kind of mix and match, but you can participate in both.
Great, thank you, Carly. Does anybody else here in the room have another question? Yes, Percy.
I wonder if you can go back to the bill. So when you pay the utility bill plus the balance of your subscription every month?
Carly, can you go back to the image of the bill? And then the question was, do you pay your utility bill plus the balance of the subscription every month?
And what's the total?
What is the total?
Yeah, so you can see here the total due on this bill, or this is my bill, is $48.66. I'm credited $43.55. So that is deducted from that total of $48.66. But then I pay a subscription fee of $41.38. So that adds another $41.38. And that gets a delta here of $2.17, which is what the total credit that's taken off my utility bill. So it would be $48.66 minus $2.17. And I'm not good at math, so I can't do that in my head. But whatever $48.66 minus $2.17 is what you would owe the utility for that month. And it also, it offsets your taxes and fees that are due to. I've had that asked before as well, because like they'll show you a subtotal here of 4603, but the credit is applied to the actual total amount due. So the including all of the taxes and fees. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Subscription cost the same?
Is the subscription cost the same for everybody, or how is that calculated?
Good question. It's not the same for everyone. It is totally dependent on your subscription and what it produced for the month. So for this generation credit here, you can see this is calculated. They show you how it's calculated. My subscription for this month produced 387.7 kilowatt hours. And that's multiplied by this bill credit rate here. So this rate has been set by the Public Utility Commission. It's about 11 cents per kilowatt hour for PGE, and it's about 10 cents per kilowatt hour for Pacific Power. But that 11 cents is multiplied by the number of kilowatt hours. That gets me the credit. And then the subscription fee, it doesn't break out the math for this, but it's that same number of kilowatt hours. So the 387.7 multiplied by a rate that is 5% less than this 11-cent bill credit rate. So I think it's around like 10.6 kilowatt hour, or sorry, 10.6 cents or something like that. It's just a rate that is 5% less than this bill credit rate here, which is how you always get an amount that's less than the bill credit rate or the bill credit. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay, so they're basically.
By the solar companies, or it's not by the electrical company that you're working with?
So the question was, who is it set by? And it's set by the Public Utility Commission, who oversees this program. It's a governing body that's not affiliated with either utility company, that's meant to keep consumers safe.
It's the amount that you initially subscribe for, like when you have it. So then from that, it's decided how much capacity you're going to subscribe for based on how much electricity you use. And then the rate is applied to that.
And then the rate is also different for different utilities because they have a different base rate to begin with. So we pay a different rate on our bills as Pacific Power customers than PGE does. So I think that's why they're slightly different on this example than what we might pay, just because Carly is a PGE customer and their whole base rate is just a little bit different than ours.
So you join up with your subscription. And there is no regular, no, so we're paying every month for something that did not happen. May happen to by each month.
Yeah, and so the question, Carly, and this also came in on the chat, is so when do you start paying your subscription fee? Or are you starting to pay not knowing when the system might be built? Or when does your payment start and your credit start on your bill?
Yeah, so you will never pay a subscription fee without getting a credit as well. So your subscription fee and your bill credit will not start until your project actually comes online. So if you signed up today, let's say for Antelope Creek Solar comes online in December of this year. You're not going to start seeing a bill credit and subscription fee probably until January, because it takes about a month for the credits to come after the project comes online. But you would start seeing the credit and the subscription fee at the exact same time. So you would never owe a subscription fee when you're like prior to your project coming online. They always come in pairs. So you'll always get your credit and your fee at the same time.
And one of the ways that I think about this is like when you're investing in a CSA at the beginning of the farm season and you're helping them get started and making that investment so that farmers can plan for the future. It's kind of the same thing with like you're signing up so that they know they have subscribers and can find the investors for the project and then get going. I guess it's not quite apples to apples because you're not actually paying until you get the credit, but I don't know if that analogy works. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a similar concept of like shares of something. But yeah, to your point with community solar, you're not having to pay, you know, the upfront, however much it costs for a CSA for the season. But it's a similar concept of like exactly what you said. A lot of these solar developers that are developing these projects, you know, they can't personally finance these solar projects because they are very expensive to build. So they have to find investors, and investors want to see that the project is completely subscribed before they will actually, you know, agree to provide funding for the project. So it's just it's a way of kind of saying this project has support and can then move forward with, you know, funding, permitting, certification processes through this program.
Subscribers a certain cost subscription fee before they move forward, knowing that the program could be supported by this community.
Are they looking for a certain number of subscribers? Like, does that have to be 80% or 100% subscribed in order for it to move forward to show that support that they need?
That's a really good question. So backing up a little bit, the Oregon Community Solar Program requires different customer types for each project, like a certain percentage of customer types for each project. So every community solar project has to be subscribed 40% residential, so residential customers like me and you, 10% low income qualified subscribers, and then 50% can then be subscribed to commercial customers. So that would be, you know, larger users of electricity. Typically for program purposes, they want the project to be 50% subscribed before it can move to like the next step in the certification process. So that 50% number is really important for program purposes, but for investment purposes, like for funding from a bank or whatever type of investment company wants to fund these projects, they're typically looking for 100% subscription rate for the project. And as long as that, you know, that subscription rate is met before the project kind of begins construction and is planned to come online, then that's fine. So it's a little bit different from a program perspective and then from an investor perspective. But either way, yes, there are certain percentages that have to be met.
The only way we can get them to know about this is to the environmental center, or is this something the news is gonna have more experience with?
Yeah, they, so the question was like, how do people find out about this? Is there any other way other
Now
than,
we're running at 50%.
yeah, and how are we gonna fill up that capacity? And I think there has been some information I've seen locally in the news. Folks like Carly are also doing a lot of outreach, and then there's information through the community solar program itself. Yeah, so it's getting there, but definitely it's still a very new program, and people are learning about how it works. So yeah, it needs all the support I can get, I would say, of folks sharing with friends and family too.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a challenge for us over, the program was launched 3 months before COVID when everything shut down. It's been very hard getting people's attention about community solar. So that threw a little bit of a wrench into the outreach and just getting the word out about it. But we're hoping, over the next year or two, it becomes more of a common thing that people hear about and know about. Because a lot of people haven't even heard of community solar or what it is. So that's kind of what we're working on, is getting the word out there by doing things like this, word of mouth. We are doing a lot of events this summer, trying to kind of get the word out there about community solar. So we're trying different avenues. But yeah, tell your friends and family about it too.
Do they come to you, or do they come
So the question was, what do we do if people want more information? We'll send some information out in the follow-up newsletter that'll have information about Oregon Shines and also the program as a whole and what you can learn about other projects that are happening in the state too. And we're about like 10 questions behind on virtual questions too. No, that's fine. I think there's been a lot of this. There's been a lot of the same questions. So that's good. Yes, yep, and this will be recorded and shared with folks as well, so this could be a resource for other folks. But along those lines of trying to figure out which project and will reach capacity first, folks are wondering if they have a choice of which project to choose and which one they should choose because what's going to be coming online the soonest.
Good question. On our website, we have a projects page that you can visit. And it lists out the projects that are available in each utility territory, and it'll first tell you if it's accepting subscribers. If it is, that means that's one you can choose. There's also an estimated operation date listed there, where you can see when the estimated date that it would be coming online. Also, when you fill out our sign up form, when you get to the page that asks you what project you want to subscribe to, if you click on a project in the drop down, some information about the project will pop up, and that's one of the information points there too. So it'll say, this one's estimated in winter of 2022, or this one's estimated spring 2023. So you can use that to make a decision as well. But yeah, that's probably actually the easiest way, is just on the sign up form, clicking through each of the projects and seeing which one might be coming online first.
And is there information, some folks are wondering about which projects are projected to produce the most? So if they're in a sunny area at the state, are you getting a better return on investment? And is that information readily available on the website too?
Yeah, it's also included under the information that pops up when you click on a project. So you're, welcome to take a look at that. I will say, it doesn't really matter. We've had that question before in the past, where, someone might want to participate in the project that is in a sunnier area. If you, let's say you were in a project that's in the Willamette Valley that gets a lot less sun than a project in Southern Oregon, your subscription size will just reflect that weather pattern. So like we take that into account when we're sizing your subscription. So if you were in if you chose a project that was in Southern Oregon, your subscription size would just be less than if you were in a project in a less sunny area. It doesn't really affect the production of your subscription, since we're sizing it to produce a certain amount, if that makes sense. So it doesn't, I mean, you can choose a project that way if you want to, but from a like bill credit perspective, it's not gonna, bump your bill credits way up, because your subscription size will just be proportionate to what the project actually produces.
Okay, thanks for that clarification, Carly. We have a couple other questions about sizing and figuring out how much you would sign up for. So some folks were asking, what if I just installed a new heat pump and switched from gas to electric, and I know my usage is going to go up? Or if I convert in the future to swap out gas for electric, like an electric car, will I be able to adjust my subscription amount?
Yeah, so we would just ask when you sign up, if you would just let us know, send an email to info@oregonshines.com and be like, hey, I just signed up. We just installed a heat pump and we're expecting our electricity to go up. We can kind of estimate on our end. We have a calculator that's been provided by the program that'll help us to project how much electricity use you might be having in the future if you were to, do something like that where we can't see a year's worth of historical usage because maybe you just installed it last month. We'll just kind of guess, but our contracts that you agree to, they allow us to kind of be flexible with your subscription size. So if in the future you maybe are using a lot more electricity than you did in the past, we could potentially up that subscription size. It will depend on whether or not we have capacity available in the project. So our goal is to keep these projects 100% subscribed. But let's say, somebody terminates a contract or they move out of their utility territory and we have that space available, we could then up your subscription size to be able to accommodate for the amount that you're using. But yeah, we have a couple of methods of dealing with that. So if you'll just let us know, we'll work with you to try to figure out what that usage would look like.
Okay, great job switching from gas to electric. We like to hear that.
Yeah,
It's good for the environment and good for your health too. So, okay, just a couple more questions. If you have 2 units on the property that come as separate Pacific Power bills, do you need to sign up separately for each bill?
If your name is on both bills, if you just provide us with both of the utility bills, we can kind of consolidate both meters under one subscription. So when you go to sign up, you can just upload both of the utility bills there. And again, if your name is on both bills, we'll just consolidate everything into one subscription. But you would still see the bill credits on your separate bills. It'll be associated with the meter number that's on the bill. So yeah, that should be no problem. If you have separate names on the utility bills, you can do that too. You would just need to sign up separately for each bill under the name that's on the utility bill.
Okay. All right. I think this might be the last question that we have here that's coming in the chat. I'll just do a quick review to make sure we didn't miss anybody else. I've heard that low-income subscribers not only get a deeper discount, but are also risk protected in some way. What is the risk that they're protected from?
Yeah. So initially during the first tier of the community solar program, which was just kind of the first round of the community solar program, it was allowed that project managers could charge a termination fee to residential subscribers, but they could not charge that termination fee to low income subscribers. So that was one protection, was just, no termination fees, no fees whatsoever. But we've decided to get rid of those termination fees for everybody for our second round of projects, just because it's way more flexible and allows you to, get out of a contract if you need to. There's no need for the fees there. There's also another protection for low income subscribers that has to do with non-payment to the utility. So as a low income subscriber, if you were to not pay your utility bill, for regular residential subscribers, I believe there's a provision in the terms that says if you don't, pay your utility bill for, I think it's like, if it's 30 days overdue or more, you could potentially be kind of dropped from the community solar project that you're in. And that's because that subscription fee that you're paying for your bill credit, that's the fee that's kind of paying for lots of things through the program. A portion of it goes to the utility, a portion of it goes to the program itself, a portion of it goes to project managers. So if you aren't paying the utility, then no one else is getting paid for their efforts through this program. So that is a risk for normal residential subscribers, but low income subscribers are protected from that risk. So if you were to get behind on your utility bill and didn't pay for more than the 30 days that's allowed for residential customers, you wouldn't be dropped from the project. That subscription fee would keep getting paid to the project managers, I believe out of the utilities pocket, but don't quote me on that. The protection is that you can continue to participate in the program even if there's a late payment, which is really nice. It's like a good flexible provision that's made for low income subscribers.
Okay, thank you, Carly. I think there was just one other comment that somebody was wondering what happens if you are a CEC or co-op customer, and I shared some information about CEC's programs in the chat, and we'll also share that in the follow-up information as well, that there are still some opportunities to engage. They just look a little bit different than this program. So I think unless anybody else here has any other questions, I think that will be a wrap on this evening with Community Solar. So just a reminder again, as Carly noted, if you sign up tonight, you'll get, or Oregon Shines will donate $50 to the Environmental Center. And through May 15th, for every sign up, they're going to donate $25 to the Environmental Center. And then we'll continue to spread the word about this. It's really important to our mission and our values of what we're trying to do in the community and help people transition to renewable energy. So hopefully we can all work together to get the word out and get these projects subscribed so you can start getting the benefits of that solar energy on your bills soon. So thank you all for being here, and thank you, Carly. I hope you all have a really wonderful night.
Thank you, everyone. And yeah, please feel free to reach out to me too if you have any questions after the fact. That info@oregonshines.com address is great. Or you can also email me directly. It's carly@oregonshines.com. And I can send you this presentation, or I guess, Lindsay, you have the presentation. You can send out to everyone as well if that's helpful.
Okay, will do. Thank you all.
Thank you.